Feel the heart. Experience the soul. Community Pulse.
So why do we really want to really make fun of it? And I've heard about classes running in Cape Town, where we actually also can come home and we can really have a laugh
about it.
But it's something very, very serious, Sister Kodra, and it's something sacred. But it's also, I think we need to find the right vocabulary.
Yes. And we need to find that comfort with the topic.
Yes.
And hopefully that's something that we'll be able to do,
inshallah, with this particular program. Because, Sister Kodra, our children from infancy to adulthood need to know that they can come to us with questions and concerns. Right? They need to know that we are willing to share information and provide meaningful information, guidance, even if we are uncertain of ourselves. But also, interestingly enough, Sister Kodra, I actually came across really our, a curriculum.
Okay.
That we actually, that we had during our apartheid years.
Okay.
And I've got like sort of the cover page here.
Yes.
Where it says, geslagsvoorligting, ouerleiding. Right? And when I looked into the content, also the inhoudsopgave, it is like, it speaks about die voorskoolse kind, van kleuter tot puberteit, adolescentie, that's adolescence, part 1 and part 2, and also gestremde kinders is gewone kinders. This is just like a curriculum that was actually developed under apartheid. But when I paged through the whole content, Sister Kodra, it was so, the subject was designed in such a way that sex and sexuality actually fits, and it's also, it's directed to becoming a family.
Yes.
Not really as like the sex education.
An individual context.
Yeah, it's now an individual context where you, yourself, is
your desires.
Your desires is actually, that is the difference. Sex and sexuality is not placed in the context of being sacred and in the context of family life and reproduction.
And it's quite interesting if you reflect on the fact that, obviously there were no good parts to apartheid. I want to make that clear. Apartheid was the system designed by Satan himself. But that if you take into consideration the content of the education system at the time and the content of an education system in our current day democracy.
Yes.
It leaves much to be desired from our side in this day and age. And it's worth reflecting on how it is that we as a society have allowed it to go this far.
Absolutely, Sister Kodra.
And again, Sister Mahbooba, it speaks to why are we so uncomfortable to have these conversations.
Yeah.
And in that light, there's another comment that has come through via WhatsApp, and do join our conversation 0786101112 via WhatsApp. I'm interested to hear from you. Lots of messages coming through now from listeners reflecting on what they also learned at school, Sister Mahbooba. We'll get to them in due time. This comment here saying that when you decide to become a parent, you need to realize that you are responsible for teaching them about life. And sex is a part of life. In fact, we exist because of sex. So how can you as a parent choose to avoid this topic when it is a basis for life itself?
Absolutely. Now that is an intelligent parent, Sister Kodira.
Yes.
That is a person who knows that why we marry, why Allah Ta'ala actually suggest or commands the marriage institution, right? So that children can be raised in a safe environment of loving mother and a loving father.
Yes.
Right? That is the whole aim also of, and in the manner which Allah Ta'ala wants us to procreate.
Yes.
So that means there's order. When we marry, when we enter into marriage, that means there's order within that particular unit.
Yes.
Right? And also when we know that the marriage, the family unit is the agent for change, right? Because if the family is strong, and then of course you have a strong society as well. Now I feel during apartheid, even though it wasn't, we know the ideal, I would say, system for humanity, the people in power actually understood
Yes.
that if you want a healthy slave, you know what I mean, to work for you,
Yes.
then you need to keep him also, his morality also intact.
Yes.
You understand what I mean?
It's an holistic system to
Yeah.
contribute in order to be a productive member of society or a
Absolutely.
productive member to a system.
Yeah,
Every single aspect of your humanity needs to be kept intact.
absolutely. Like we say, if there's no morality, there's no nation. No, that's what those particular people in power, they understood that leg of it. Right? So that's why we didn't have pornography at the time. We didn't have those kind of things that could influence our children. Right? But now what we have been given ourselves over to this particular freedom,
Yes.
where we find ourselves today, 25 years later, right, in this democracy where we just see chaos.
Yes.
It's like there is no order. We're living in a lawless country.
Definitely.
Yeah, and we also see how this sex education that was introduced into South Africa with this new constitution that we have, first thing that came, that was legalized was the abortion on demand.
Yeah.
That was the first legislation that was actually passed. As we entered into this democracy to kill your children.
Yeah.
Right? Do we realize that? And also the condomizing. The concept of safe sex. That was imprinted in children's minds at school level already. Right? So that is we need to also look at our history, Sister Cardia, with regards to sexuality. And also so that you can also tell children and give them that particular background as well, of the context that we are raising children today.
Yes.
Interesting, just to mention what happened when I actually addressed a few teachers, a couple of months ago. And this teacher actually asked me, what do I say if my daughter comes to me and she says, I have the right to have an abortion? What should my answer be as a parent? But then I also realized that particular parent was also, even though it was right for him to ask that particular question, that we are not really empowered to tell our children the effects that abortion has on
the body,
on the woman, in the right of women's right, in the name of women's rights. You find that she has a choice to take life.
Yes. And the talk on abortion is one that is had in conjunction with the talk on intimacy and sexual relations. It's a talk that you need to speak to your girls and your boys.
Absolutely.
About. But once again, at an age appropriate level.
But should they come to you, come to us as a parent with these kind of questions, which we can expect, Sister Kadra. Are we really empowered as parents to tell them, this is what the Quran says, this is what God says, even though you're not a Muslim, this is what the Bible says.
Yes.
Right? Because we are first and foremost people of faith, isn't it?
Definitely.
Yeah. So this program is meant for that, Sister Kadra, to actually assist parents, and I hope that they are with us on the same page with
they
us.
Definitely are, Sister Mahbooba.
And I hope that the listener will embrace the most meaningful task as your child's trusted counselor.
Definitely.
Right? In sexual relations, intimacy and love, inshallah. Yeah.
All right. Now, Sister Mahbooba, I'm going to go back to the WhatsApp line. It's going crazy over here, so we'll try and get through as much as possible. Whatever we don't get through, we'll put on the back burner for next week, inshallah. Now, Sister Mahbooba, you mentioned before, we need to take into consideration, obviously the age appropriateness of having these kinds of talks, but we cannot ignore the environmental factors. And with regards to that, there is a comment that has come through. Assalamu alaikum. I don't think that sexuality is something you can teach someone. All parents have to do is show their children how to love. That is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us all a different time of becoming mukallaf, and from there things just become naturally, and so it's nothing to be discussed. The more you know, the more you want to explore. That is my opinion. Shukran.
Okay, that's the lady's opinion. But it's also, we cannot really really overlook the fact that children are being influenced also from society as well.
Yes.
Right? Even though I'm a loving parent, Sister Kadira, children also do get messages from outside. So this program is for us as parents to be actually educated on how we can actually counter these messages if it's not really moral. You know what I mean? So it's all about empowering, Sister Qadira, but I think also I feel sincerely that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us this particular task, Sister Qadira, because for us to discuss things that's you know, that really people find it.
Feel the heart. Experience the soul. Community Pulse.